Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spin Cycle, the show for short reviews of albums new and old. And today I will be talking about the new album from Mastodon, Emperor of Sand, which was released on March 31st, 2017. There are a lot of bands that are controversial out there, but Mastodon always seems to be on the list. Now there's certainly a great deal of love and hate from the fans of the band. But it's funny for Mastodon because it's always been that way, before and after their sound shift. And like a lot of prog metal rock bands out there, their sound has evolved in some ways significantly. The best comparison would be to Opeth, whereas they kind of kept the same style, but they weren't as overtly heavy. Personally, I've wrestled with it in the past, but ultimately I just love Mastodon style too much. Either that or Blood Mountain just hooked me and never let me go. It's one of my top 5 favorite albums of all time. Mastodon is a progressive stoner metal band from Atlanta, Georgia, and they were founded in 2000 after the group met at a High on Fire show. Matt Pike for the win! They originally had a lead singer, but he left the band shortly after their formation. And their lineup has been consistent with Braun Daller, Brent Hines, Bill Kelleher, and Troy Sanders throughout the entire career. And they also are a vocalist by committee band. Everybody but Kelleher sings, and sometimes that makes their live shows a little less than impressive. But they started off playing heavier music with Remission, though it was clear from the start that they had some impressive technical skills, particularly Daller's drums and Hines' guitar work. They followed Remission with 3 absolutely incredible concept albums before shifting their sound a bit. And while critically acclaimed, The Hunter is one of their most divisive albums, which happened after that shift. I love it, but I can understand why it's such a divisive album. But whether it's fame or infamy, Mastodon continues to produce music their way, and the results speak for themselves. So Emperor of Sand is the band's 7th studio album following 2014's amazing Once More Around the Sun. It was released on Reprise Records, who have been involved in every album since Leviathan. There is a guest vocal from Neurosis' Scott Kelly again, and he's been on every single album that Mastodon has done, with the exception of Remission. Like their other albums, it does have a lyrical theme. In this case, they're talking about time and mortality, and there's also a lot of personal emotion in these songs the band has grappled with quite a bit in their personal lives. And as is their style, the album features stark artwork. Art is definitely a big part of Mastodon's image. I will say the band had their work cut out for them following Once More Around the Sun. Stylistically, it falls in line with the 2014 album. It's faster paced and very clean. But they definitely show off their strengths with their musical compositions. That is, great guitar work and excellent drumming. I will say it's not disappointing, but it sounds like a Mastodon album from start to finish. I love it, but I can see how it might seem like a familiar retread for people who've heard the same thing over and over again from the band. But where this album succeeds most is in its melodies. Songs like Roots Remain, Show Yourself, and Ancient Kingdom really have a strong melodic hook. It doesn't have to be harsh to be aggressive, but this is definitely melodically aggressive. My top 4 songs from the album are Show Yourself, which is the most single song on the album, but it's still very catchy. Steam Breather, which is melodic, it's groovy, and it's passionate, especially thanks to Daller's vocals. Roots Remain, which is a heavy and proggy song with some of my favorite vocals on the album. And then Ancient Kingdom, which is this dark and powerful song with another superb Hines guitar solo. But my favorite song has to be the finale, Jaguar God. This one builds slowly, but then it crushes it in the finale. Tell us where to find the man. Overall, if you were a fan of Mastodon's last 2 albums, you will almost certainly love Emperor of Sand. That said, it probably won't gain them too many new fans or bring back lapsed Mastodon fans. It is absolutely a solid album from a band that has perfected their unique sound over the years. The talent is definitely there, the melody is there, and the strength is resonant throughout. But for better or worse, it is still another Mastodon album. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So my top 5 for the week are 5 of the songs that made me fall in love with Mastodon in the first place. Blood and Thunder from Leviathan. This song definitely didn't grab me right away, but it is probably the most endearing song for Mastodon since it did introduce me to the band. Hearts Alive off of Leviathan, which is just a great epic song that really showed their range as a band. Sea Beast, also off of Leviathan, which is still probably my favorite song Mastodon has ever done, and it also has one of my favorite videos of all time. But I wasn't in love with them quite yet. Capillary and Crest off of Blood Mountain. This album is almost perfect, and this is one of those songs that really made me love the band. And then finally, This Mortal Soil off of Blood Mountain. This definitely sealed them as one of my absolute favorite bands and one of my absolute favorite albums. Let me know your thoughts on Emperor of Sand. If you love Mastodon, let me know your thoughts on the album. If you don't like Mastodon, give it a listen and tell me what you think of how they've evolved and progressed. And that does it for this episode of Spin Cycle, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Nice work. Good job. If you like what you saw, you can just go ahead and click that subscribe button for all videos past and future. You can also head over to my website and see all the other stuff that I do, including the books I've written. So go ahead, click stuff.